And this was back when I was still drinking, and Josh and I had several nights where we just sat around and he told stories and I listened. And I turned a couple of them into songs. I never had the opportunity to meet John. I never knew who he was. All I knew was my best friend had come home and talk about this dude all the time. I was almost like a jealous girlfriend. Who the hell is he? But, you know, I do wish with all my heart that I could have met him. But I just want to share a couple things from the families. As far as John's mom and sister Handy, we found out they were going to come out to a show. Where was that at? It was Saratoga Springs, New York. And we were actually, it was right after One Hell of a Name Men went #1. We were having a little get together at the house, and Josh was there. And I told Josh that you guys were going to be at the show. And my beautiful wife, Amber, was right there with me. Y'all, this is my wife, by the way. She is just everything to me. But Josh was sitting there talking to Amber now, and he disappeared. And he walked back in. He said, "Hey, dude, can I talk to you for a minute?" I said, "Yeah." We walked in the bedroom, and he said, "Man, I know I was taking him on a hunting trip." He said, "I know, you know, I planned this time off to go on this hunting trip." He said, "But I just called off work." He said, "If you don't mind, I really need to do something. If you wouldn't mind me tagging along to New York." And I was like, "Dude, that is perfectly fine. You climb on board and go with us." What I didn't know, and what Josh didn't tell us, was that there was more to the story than even I knew. That happened in 2006. I watched Josh struggle with substances. I watched him struggle with his mind. I watched him struggle with everything imaginable, I think, in his life. And some of you might know what I'm talking about. You know when you know somebody well enough to know that something's on their heart. It's not really on their mind. It's on their heart and it's heavy. But I never could figure out what it was. And we didn't tell these guys that Josh was coming. And Josh was sitting in the back and they walked on the bus. And I, introduced my wife. And said, "Hey, this is Amber." And I was talking to his mom and I said, "And this is Josh Green." And at first it didn't register to her. And then she looked, she was like, "Oh my God." And, there were a lot of tears, a lot of hugs. And what followed that was something that blew my mind, like this song did about a million times. But Josh finished the story. John did not have to go out of the wire that day. He never had to leave the wire. When Josh and his company got ready to leave, John grabbed his gun and Josh tried to make him stay because he wasn't infantry. And they argued back and forth to the point where they're both in Humvees shooting each other birds, headed towards Kirkuk City. Josh witnessed every second of what went down. But I saw a young man be able to look into a mother's eyes and tell her that her son was not alone when he died. That he held his hand every second of the way. One of the things she said was, I just worried that he was alone. And Josh cried and he said, "He was not alone. I was right there with him. I never left him." Josh is a new man already. He was making strides and making a lot of progress. But after that, he's literally a new man. And that's one more person that your son saved. As far as the Potts are concerned, they wanted to be here today. But just a little story, I try not to take too much of your time. But I was out on my motorcycle a few months ago, and every time I get on it, I ride by Potts Farm. And a lot of you have heard about Potts Farm and Dirt Road Anthem, my kind of party. It's a real place. We did real damage there. But I was riding around the farm, and I actually pulled by Kory's house. And Kelly Potts, his mom, was out cutting the grass. I've known Kelly my whole life. And I just kind of pulled over to say hey for a minute, and we ended up talking. And probably 2 hours later, I think, and I couldn't tell you the last time I sat on a porch and talked to somebody for that long. But 2 hours later, after a ton of conversation about the song. You never know when you release a song like this about real people that are not here anymore, how the families are going to react. You just don't know. I don't even think you guys knew. But you knew the greater cause, and that's why they went ahead with it. And Kelly told me, she said, you know what, Brantley, she said, one of the main things that I just have nightmares about and worry about the most is that Kory would have been forgotten. And now that you guys wrote this song and released it, I know he won't be. The power of music is something that a lot of people in this room are familiar with. None of us can really define it. You can't harness it. You know, the words that go into songs are chosen for a reason. I truly do believe that, again, this song is a God thing. I tell people all the time that, you know, God blessed me with a platform a lot larger than I need. I'm not a real big dude. I got chicken legs too. And a lot more spotlight than I need. And with this song, we were able to shed some of that spotlight on two legacies that deserved it, that deserved more life and deserved to be more widespread and learned. This song took on so many new meanings along the way. And I'm honestly proud to be one of the vessels that the good Lord used to get this thing out. From a benefit show we did in Chattanooga, I forget how many thousands of people were there, 85 plus, went silent and had a word of prayer without breaking that silence for a good 30-something seconds. When sacrifices are made and when people go to bat and they fight what I call the good fight. You may be fighting cancer, you may be fighting a war overseas, you may be fighting demons inside your own chest. When you go and you fight the good fight, you learn. You may win, you may lose, but it's all about the fight. And I can say to several people in this room, there's several of you I don't know, but the ones that I do, and you know who you are, I'm proud to be in this fight with you. There's a lot of fighting this dog, and there's a lot of fighting y'all. And you can trust me to go down any dark alley you want to go down with you, and I hope it's the same my way. I want to tell you, every one of you, that I love you. Scott, George, Valerie, radio team, guys, thank you so much for believing in this song. I love an underdog story, and this song was an underdog from the word go. And we watched it work. We watched God work. And we're up here receiving plaques and necklaces and things. And the greatest gift we could ever give is the gift we had in your son and in Kory Potts that led to a song like this that changed and affected so many people. So thank you. And thank all of you for being here. I'm going to shut up and hand the mic back over. Appreciate it.